Hello and welcome back to the On the Slab horror show that we bring to you each and every week exclusively live on the Dynamo Podcast Network. This here is a very special episode that we've got for you. It's the first time the three of us have been there since they promoted me. So we have obviously Ian here, who's on my left on the picture. I don't know what he is on yours. And then we have Carl, the king.
Yeah.
How are we, men?
Good. Well, I was good until you just announced me as Ian, and then you announced Carl the King. Do you know what I mean?
Did it obviously dipped out, did it? Sorry, Ian the Dynamo King.
I'm only kidding.
The Dynamo King, wow, and with the G-Man.
Exactly,
baby.
Oh, you're not getting that promoted now, in fairness, fuck off.
No, well, I'll send you the bill for the checks.
And a major congratulations on a job well done on Greg's first intro.
Absolutely, well done, bro.
Flawless.
What are we talking about today, man?
So I've set up, well, we set up when we had a chat there last week, a list type episode of movies that don't include the big usual names that you get in horror. So like it could be movies that we've seen that aren't obviously Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Jaws, Saw, any of the real big names. So there'll be a bit more obscure movies for people that they mightn't have seen, and we're going to give them a lowdown and get them to check it out. So we've come with 5 each.
Yeah, I like it.
Otherwise, we'd be here all night.
I'd like to call this like a lesser known list of films.
Yeah, it's not necessarily B movies as such, because we're going to do an episode on B movies, as in like the only way you could watch these back in the day was going to your local video store and just judging it by the cover. You know what I mean?
Can't wait to get to the C movies, lads. All the sci-fi movies.
Oh, hell yeah.
The top 10 films on sci-fi are on the horror channel.
Sharknado.
Jeez.
And there's a lot of them.
Top 10, it's only 2 films or something. It has to be.
So how are we going to do this today, G-Man?
We go one by one around the way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone care to want to start?
I'll start it. I'm willing to do it that way.
Yeah.
So you know, like a lot of my favorite horror films would be kind of lesser known ones anyway, as you both know, and people who watch the show would know that as well. But again, and they're not in order.
There's no way they could be put in order.
No.
So starting off, I'm going with Terrafor.
What a movie!
Oh,
yeah.
Modern fucking indie horror. I love it.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that was done with $100,000 of a budget, you know. And I that's the one film that I couldn't see how much it made, but I know it made over $100,000 anyway.
And $100,000 went into the mask alone.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
It's brilliant.
Isn't it amazing though to think that that's another iconic character now, Art the Clown? And I mean, you know, the amount of gore in that film as well.
Best clown ever as well, in my opinion. I know that's going to be controversial, but.
Well, that's again another show, you know. But Damien Leone directed it, and it was brought before a film. All Hallows Eve was the first film to include art, and there's a new one, Terrifier 2, coming out as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's out. Is it
I know it's due to be.
I think it came out at the back end of last year. It was a soft release though.
Oh, yeah, it was only. I think they released it in like Canada first or something, but it's still not like really.
It was at one of the film festivals. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have it here that it cost them $100,000 to make it, and within 19 hours of it being released, it had $125,000 made.
There you go.
Holy
so
shit.
whatever it made after that.
And then I mean he did a like a Kickstarter or GoFundMe to do the new one, and he more than met his target as well. So it's great to see kind of independent filmmakers doing shit like that on their own back, you know.
Oh, it's great.
It's one of my woman's favorite horrors as well. She loves it. Every Halloween she has to watch it. It's crazy. Like,
Terrifier.
Yeah, Rachel absolutely is obsessed with that movie.
She's got taste.
It's one of them movies that kind of flew under the radar an awful lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't up until 5 or 6 years ago I heard of it first.
I heard of it first actually from not even Carl on this occasion, which is weird because I wouldn't have expected to. But I remember saying to him like, "Yeah, I talked to you about it." And I remember just going, "Yeah, Terrifier, It's fucking absolutely spot on.
I have to say, he even scared me. He even freaked me out. I don't, you know me, I love clowns. I fucking love clowns.
I know how I came across it. It was actually by accident. You know, when you go through fucking, you know, sometimes on those Saturday nights, those slow Saturday nights where you're like, you're just looking for something to come out at you, something modern that's not necessarily big. I know Clown was Eli Roth's one.
Yeah, it's very good as well, actually.
Yeah, and I think
that's the one he just starts transforming, isn't it?
Yeah, it was that was a fucking badass movie, that.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually off the back of that. We were looking for more shit, and this like kind of really indie advert for Terrifier come on, and we were like, oh my god, I need to find that now.
Yeah.
And I have to say, that's one of the movies that genuinely gives you like frights, because you're like, you don't know whether this lad is an actual demon or what he is, but there's no special effects, no fucking none of that.
But there's no real rhyme or reason to what he's doing. He's just
the pizza store scene, like, you know, where he's sitting there going, you're like, get this motherfucker out of here. Like, I'd have been like the actual guy in the pizza store. Get the fuck out, you little creep.
Yeah.
I think this movie had a lot of remember then, like, when they brought this out, and then obviously all the people started dressing up as clowns and like in underpasses and all.
Yeah,
I think they picked off a lot of that from the likes of this and Clown.
Until some of the clowns start getting the head kicked off too much.
Well, to be honest with you, if you're seeing someone running at you like that, you're not gonna run off. Some people won't run off. Like,
I wouldn't.
Well, I certainly will. Well, I'm not going to say nothing, but you know me, so no way.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Unless he had that big fucking knife shit going on. If he had that knife gimmick going on, I'd be like, all right, sayonara, I'm out of here.
What happened? There's an Ian-shaped hole in that wall.
Forget about it. You know what I mean? Forget about it.
No, but like I think a lot of it was well promoted. I think some of them were actors that were paid by companies to do it.
Yeah.
You know, put the fear of clowns back into people, and then all of a sudden you release a big clown movie.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
It's it's a good and bad thing for clowns. I mean, real clowns, official clowns, had a rough time getting work at kids' parties afterwards. But
I don't blame kids not wanting
officially went to clown college. You know that?
That's correct. Yes, I did.
Did she? Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Tell her clowns aren't real and see what happens.
I'd like to see that red nose, what? Anyway, moving on.
You want to go ahead, Eno?
You go.
All right, yeah. So I'll go again. They're in no particular order, so I'll go what I have written down first. I went for a 1983 gem, year before my birth. I went with Videodrome.
What a movie.
Directed and written by the great David Cronenberg. Unbelievable movie. I know it was on Netflix for a day or so.
Yeah.
It's
a hot minute.
It's crazy when they get on and then all of a sudden they're gone. Like,
it's madness, because to me, like, this is one of the best like horror movies ever. You know what I mean? And these, like, I'm like Carl. Carl alluded to the fact that a lot of his favorite horrors are kind of the obscure ones, and I'm the exact same.
Yeah.
Like, we love the big ones, but I'm like I mean, James Woods in this is prime James Woods, like, and his acting in it is phenomenal.
One of my favorite
of
his films, actually.
James Woods is prime James Woods and everything.
Yeah. I would say that's one of my favorite roles that he's done.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean by prime James Woods. It's like he's so kind of the youth in him, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a genius, though.
He is, man. It's him, you know, as Max Wren, basically a little bit of a weirdo in his own right. You know what I mean? And they go to, you know, the whole premise of it, that it's almost like you know, this whole video obsession and movie obsession back then, but it's like the original kind of based on this snuff coming from Malaysia. But, like, you know, even Debbie Harry's character in it is absolutely phenomenal. Debbie Harry looks mighty fine. Yeah, as a.
You know, I can't even think of the last time I watched this movie.
Oh, dude.
I watched it about 4 months ago.
Yeah, I'm currently looking up a list or a site here to watch it on.
Hit me with some knowledge. I'll sort you out so we don't get in trouble from bigwigs on YouTube. But don't worry, Nvidia.
Shudder.
Shudder, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an awesome movie. I mean, Carl, I know you're a big fan of this movie as well. Some of the animatronics in this as well, for example, are amazing. Like the way his stomach opens up and stuff. It's just, it's such a strange, it's a weird movie. Like, unless you're crazy into your horror, you probably won't get it.
Yeah,
But as well as that, though, I think, like, again, I've alluded to this before. For me, horror movies should be uncomfortable to watch.
Yes.
You should be able to feel some percentage of what they're going through in whatever it is, whether it's a transformation or with something out of your stomach or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So the more, and without, like something like that where you can feel the dread, you can feel the horror. That's timeless.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is an unbelievable movie, and look, it is a pretty big enough cast as well. But like, as I said, Debbie Harry in it. A lot of people don't even know Debbie Harry was in this. They're just thinking of the hot blonde chick that was in it. It was actually Debbie Harry. Like,
that one, yeah.
Even the fact that her dad basically like is he's dead yet, like he's still talking to. James Woods' character, in this movie, it's like, what is going on? Am I in real life here? Is this an alternate universe? It's very, it's very trippy, in fairness, but it has that great 80s vibe to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where
absolutely.
There's a great score on it and everything. And it has the animatronics that probably weren't done to the effect of, say, something like The Thing or something, or had the budget of something like that. But
they worked for this film, though.
Absolutely.
Really
Absolutely.
And if you, I mean, even if you went to try and remake that film like they always try to do with you, it wouldn't have the charm that it has.
Couldn't do it. No.
Rumor has it Carl loves remakes.
Fuck off with your remakes.
Whoever set that rumor up, I think Carl might be gunning for them.
Yeah, Ted, I'm gonna kick your ass.
So that's my first pick. Over to you, host with the most.
Right, we're going down under for my one.
Oh.
We're gonna go with Wolf Creek.
I knew you were going there, man. I knew you were going there when you said that.
Written and directed by Greg McLean. I always find when a director writes the movie as well, he has more involvement in it.
Like the last movie,
the script. Yeah,
exactly.
Rather than him just reading the script.
More to say, basically,
Yeah.
Well, it's his baby, isn't it? Or her baby, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
Like this movie was genuinely uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously set in the outback, with a random farmer, you'd say.
What was his name? Mick something.
Well, didn't that motherfucker actually get done for something crazy recently?
Who, your man that played your man in Wolf Creek?
Yeah.
No, the main guy. It's based on a true story.
Yeah.
So he got sent. I think he got sentenced to jail time, or he died in jail, one or the other, not so long ago.
Yeah.
The real guy, the real fella.
Yeah. No, obviously his name wasn't Mick, but like this movie where you see them going up a tourist spot and he just arrives and all of a sudden the car's broke.
Yeah.
This is a real survival at its darkest. You know, normally sometimes you see it and it's like it's daylight and nothing's happening. This shit's happening all the time.
Yeah, like even the stats that they gave at the start of the movie about how like many amount of people go missing, because they had that famous story, didn't they? Like the famous UK couple that went missing, they were never found.
There's loads though. People, like, if you go missing in the outback, you're going to be eaten by something.
Yeah, and there you go. There's kind of realism there, and that's proper.
That's the horror of it. Yeah.
That's proper horror.
But like. The scenes in here where she goes back in to get her friend out, he's like fucking butchering people. Now, the one thing I will have is it does go back to the same old horror trope of she leaves the gun with him. Do you know what I mean?
No, I hate when they do that and then they don't pull the trigger. It's like, no, there's a bullet in your head, son.
But like you're looking at it, the movie was almost perfect, and then you're like, well, why? Even if you don't want to shoot him with it, just take you with you. You can't use it.
You know what it's like? It's kind of like in pro wrestling when you see them like slowly climbing up the cage or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're actually inviting the ignorant people to come in and judge this. Don't give them a reason.
Wouldn't it be gas though? Just on imagine if one of the wrestlers went off script and went into business for themselves and just ran up the ladder straight away and took it.
You'd have to do every ladder match that way. And it's the same with horror. You're like, fuck, it's yeah, no, I'm the same as Greg there with that. It's a hate.
John Jarrett was absolutely phenomenal as Mick Taylor in this.
Yeah.
Now I don't know whether any of you checked out part 2.
Oh, yeah, he's the guy. He's in trouble in real life now for something mad.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh. No, part 2 was okay, but the TV series wasn't bad either.
Was he in the TV series as well?
I can't remember if it was him or not. I think it was him. But the TV show was well worth the watch as well. But Wolf Creek is as atmosphere that Carl loves, and the way it was filmed to me was very much a throwback towards Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, it looked hot and sweaty, and it was filthy, dirty, and dusty, and
that kind of lip service, or that kind of homage.
I'm going to say as well, John Jarrett is not in trouble anymore. He was accused of rape, but he was found not guilty. So let's clarify that for
disclaimer.
Sorry, John. Please don't shoot me.
Good man.
But yeah, no, it was a brilliant movie.
Yeah, I thought it was a great movie. I remember it was one of those movies. What year was that, Greg?
2005.
Yeah, I think it was one of the last, because that was still at a time where you could still go to Extravision and rent out, DVDs more so at that time, and I think that was one.
2005. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I remember getting kind of very, very close to the time it came out, and just, when you get it on the cheap section, which was great about horror, you'd always get it on the cheap.
But that's what I used to do. Like, me and the lads used to go over.
Advanced Vision
Extravision used to be 5 DVDs for a $5 for 5 nights. We used to go over and rent the 5 worst looking movies we could find and see if we could catch a couple of pingers out of it.
Best thing in the world, man. Best thing in the world. And then straight over to 4-star pizza. Let's get all the beers, all the pizza. Let's fucking.
I only started eating pizza there not so long ago. So
once you don't have
pineapple on it early enough.
Yeah, gone mad.
Gone mad. No,
right, so
great show. Love that movie.
Yeah. If you haven't seen any of these movies, check them out. So far, we're 3 for 3 here.
Oh, definitely.
Right, I'm gonna stick with 2005. And Ian, you're probably saying he's doing a lot of modern stuff.
Can I just say as well, for anybody waiting on me to come out with some sort of modern movie, I think the latest in the decades that I go is 1989. in fact, no, it's not. It's 1988. So
that makes perfect sense to me, knowing you though.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're going with The Devil's Rejects.
Oh, hell!
What a movie!
Yeah, hell yeah, love it.
Right, as we all know, it was preceded by House of a Thousand Corpses, which is a great film in its own right.
Yeah.
But this film really did, and as far as I'm concerned, Rob Zombie, stop doing fucking remakes and do originals like this.
100%. 1 million. Both of those movies as a duo, that's his niche. That is something that is perfect. Yeah.
He done the newest part to it as well.
Free from Hell, which was crap.
I didn't want to go there.
It's shit, and I loved them, but it was shit.
I enjoyed the premise of the story to it. But
there was elements of it that were okay. You know what I mean? But I mean, there shouldn't be elements of it that are okay. It should be as strong as those. Carl, it's your baby anyway. Sorry, go ahead.
So as I said, it was done in 2005 on a $7 million budget, and it made 20.9 million. So that's a good, for another independent film.
More than double his money, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sid Haig, of course, the legendary Sid Haig was Captain Spaulding. Sherry Moon Zombie, yum baby, and Bill Moseley.
Crack.
Oh, Bill Moseley. So there's the 3 main characters in it, and as we all know, it's basically they're on the run and they're doing all this kind of nasty stuff to that family band. There's some cool looking kills in that as well.
DDP and making an appearance in this as well.
That's right.
It's hilarious.
And DDP looks huge in it, doesn't he?
He is huge.
Yeah, I know. But
at the time, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny Trejo as well. Yeah, the two brothers. They were the
He's in everything though.
The Dead Brothers.
That's why I called him Machete. So it's like there's no point in giving him credits for his
acting. In absolutely everything.
Yeah, he's the Mexican Samuel L. Jackson. He's the Mexican Samuel L.
He was on death row, was he?
Yeah. So when he was in prison, he was in San Quentin.
Yeah.
And there was a riot, and he threw a rock and hit a guard in the face with it.
Oh, jeez.
And he got put in solitary confinement and put on death row because of it. But the guard never came forward, and they couldn't identify who done it. So he got away with it.
He's a bad man.
I would not want to fight him.
He also saved a 5-month-old baby after a car overturned on the freeway. He walked out into the middle of the freeway and pulled her out of the car.
Fair play to him.
He's a champ, that guy.
He is. But yeah, so Devil's Rejects, I mean, it's a film I can go back to all the time. Never gets boring. Never gets old.
That again is not another easy watch either, though.
No. It's not. But,
no, definitely.
I mean, look at and there's another one with the perfect mix of a soundtrack with the film. Soundtrack is amazing. Oh.
Well, for anyone that hasn't seen it, if you haven't, I don't know where you've been, and I don't know why you're watching a horror show, but like that final scene, you know, we actually joked at the start of the show talking about Leonard Skinner's Freebird. If ever there was a time for Freebird to be played in a movie, it's this movie, right?
Yeah.
That was it. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I'm not giving away too much of these films, just in case people haven't seen them and I want them to check them out. So that's
that's it. That's why I'm saying just watch it. Like it's
get your pen, your bit of paper, scribble down the 15 names that we're giving you. Watch them. Come back to us.
I would also recommend though, if you will, watch it as a duo. Watch
one and then
first, and then because you like if you didn't know. You know what I mean? You wouldn't know that this is a prequel.
Second. As a standalone, it could work as well.
It could work.
It could do. But if you want the full experience, you know what I mean? If we're going to be recommending shit here on the slab, we want to be
might as well do it properly,
fucking experience, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, so there you go. There's my number 2. Well, second one.
Great show. That was the most modern one that was on my list, Carl, but I knew, believe it or not, that you'd be choosing it, so.
Right. So you picked that as well, did you?
No, that would have been one of them. Right, but I knew not to put it in my 5 because I knew you'd be picking it.
Well, you know what you were saying about honourable mentions. House of a Thousand Corpses made my honourable mention.
Well, there we go. I think we could all agree that would be an honourable mention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This was Rob Zombie at his finest, though.
Yeah.
He
never equaled it. In fairness.
No, that was perfection for him. That was 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, 31 wasn't bad either.
It was okay.
Yeah, well, sure. What can you do?
Next one.
Right, I'll go with my most recent of the years, 1988's masterpiece, They Live.
Oh.
John Carpenter, Roddy Piper.
Keith David.
What a movie, like, titled on screen as John Carpenter's They Live, as he always, and I think they should always be, all of his films should be announced as that, so that we can bleed the fucking week out of the other stuff that they use with his name on it. It's kind of more of a science fiction action film, but I think it's a horror film too. I think
it is a horror film.
It's definitely within the horror.
It's got enough elements in it to be classed as a horror rifle.
Definitely.
This movie, if you've never seen it, you've generally no idea what.
It's on Netflix right now, so
it is. Yeah, I watched it.
Go and check it out. Based on the 1963 short story by 8 o'clock in the morning by Ray Nelson.
Imagine naming a story 8 o'clock in the morning.
But I mean, I've actually went back and read it, and it's really cool. And I think the way like John Carpenter, as only John Carpenter can just make something like that and just elevate it into the best thing in the world. Roddy Piper as John Nada. No, the thing about it is, like, there's no actual official name. He's known as Nada, which means nothing.
Nothing.
Or nobody.
Like some places have it down as George.
for some reason George has been given, I don't know why, maybe that's the LGBTQ plus community that wanted to call him George. I do not know. No offense to any of us, if that's what you want to call him, you're more than welcome, because you can call him Free Willy for all we care, because
we'll just call him the Hot Rod.
yeah, we're just going to call him the Hot Rod. Well, how good is Roddy Piper in this movie?
This is just an immense performance,
and it's two of my favorite people in the one movie. It's obviously Roddy Piper, but it's also Keith David as well as Frank Armitage. And like,
what a man!
Keith David, he's obviously in The Thing as well. He was in a lot of those 80s kind of lower budget movies.
He was the lower version of Samuel L. Jackson.
but I'll take him over Samuel L. any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
He's a different kind of actor though. Like, you couldn't say, I know it's a horror show, but you couldn't have Keith David, even if he was Samuel L. Jackson's age, playing Nick Cage now.
No, but he was perfect for what he was back then. I mean, this film has one of the best fight scenes of all time.
Probably the best
fight.
Probably the best. I would say so. I'm glad you guys said that. I think
absolutely,
because it's one of the most legit looking fight scenes where they beat the piss out of each other.
They definitely hit each other a few slaps. Nah.
Oh yeah, Roddy was known to hit him a few, and he was like, I think he realized. I think he realized when Roddy hit him a few, kind of went, there was a receipt here, but.
I always say, sorry Ian, I always say that my favourite fight scene in any film is this. And my favourite, just two things I always put couple together. That and my favourite shootout scene in a film is Heat. They're so long, but there's so much going on. Do you know what I mean?
That's my favourite movie outright.
I love it. Are you going to do it on Retrotainment?
We'll get there.
Cool.
Yeah, no, this is for me. This is just unbelievable. As I said, Meg Foster, little bitch.
She is a wagon in this.
Holly Thompson, she really is a wagon. Fucks him out a bleeding window. He nearly goes down a hole, down the bottom of the Hollywood Hills. Has to rest his poor El Weary, his weary heart somewhere. But it's an amazing movie. Again, a movie I don't want to ruin on anybody if they haven't seen it. I think this, and it's very, very, very apparent to the modern day kind of socialism and
far ahead of its time.
Communism, and consumerism. You know what I mean? The whole idea of like everything, you see the cola, consume. Like once he puts the glasses on, he can see exactly what the message is from all these corporate slogans and corporate advertisements. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Great message within the film. And that's
even the design of what are, I don't know, you can't even call them zombies.
Kind of alien types.
But they're aliens, that's what they are. They're the lizard people, I suppose. If the mad kind of, if you some of the crazy community want to call them lizard people.
They look class, don't they? They really do.
Like it's something so easy. Like, I don't know whether that was a mask or it's painted on their face or what when they were filming it. But
I'd say it was a mask.
Perfect.
I'd say it was a mask, but it was perfect. So over to you, Greg. That's my pick.
Right. So I'm trying to keep it a little bit more modern because you know how some people won't go back and watch older movies. So exactly. 80s is probably the best generation for horror.
Absolutely.
But I've gone for a 2003 classic. Written or directed by Danny Boyle. I went to 28 Days Later.
Oh yes.
Amazing movie.
This here is
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, this here is the definition of a post-apocalyptic infected person. Where you see zombie movies where they're slow moving, this, that, and the other. These aren't technically zombies; they're infected but these are primal rage. Fucking, they're gonna tear your head off. Simple as that.
I'd say that's where they got the idea for I Am Legend and stuff like that with those.
Well, I Am Legend is a book. I think.
No, but I'd say for the movie itself, I'd say that's or else.
Yeah.
I'd say that's where they got the idea for the way they presented the zombies on screen. Is what I mean.
Well, I mean, I always feel, to me, the likes of the original Dawn of the Dead is my favorite zombie movie, for example. And the way you have there should be a difference between infected and zombies.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like infected, like as we saying, infected go straight for, like they fly along. They're so fast and everything. It's almost like their strength is heightened or whatever.
It's very Resident Evil-ish, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Some of the subjects in Resident Evil, they're not.
Yeah. I was gonna say some of them will and some of them aren't.
Some of them are dead. Some of them are like just turned into this mad thing. And I think, man, that was an unbelievable movie. Actually, Cillian Murphy in it, by the way, Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah, and then like it shows the difference though. Like when you see the armed guards that take them in, haven't been whatever they've been for a long time. Then like your one's only about 12 in it, and like it gets seriously rapey.
Yeah, very much so.
And the older girl gives her I'm imagining it's an ecstasy tablet or something.
Well, isn't it very kind of based on The Walking Dead, like, you know what I mean, the comics and the premise of the comics.
Yeah, well, it seems to be that kind of way, doesn't it?
He wanted
a very similar story
to show the bad side of humanity rather than the bad side of zombies more so. It's like, what will humanity do when the backs are against the wall? Do you know what I mean? Will they remain that? Like,
they're bad, yeah.
Like, are we actually animals first and foremost that have been trained to be human, or are we animals first and then that's the great message.
It shows the nature of people that gets worse and worse as time goes on.
Yes, exactly, because when your backs are against the wall, that's what I mean. Exactly.
But like
where was that filmed? There's Manchester or London?
London up to Manchester.
Yeah, but you know when you see London and it's totally empty, I think that's epic.
It was actually brilliant, wasn't it? It was like 5 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and the cops stopped people for fucking 2 miles or something.
Yeah. Brilliant.
But like the music in this alone, like the soundtrack that builds the atmosphere, for something so easy, a drop of blood from them and you're infected, that's it. There's no option then. You don't even have time.
Greg? Would you agree that this is a very, very 80s style movie?
100%.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
This is just shy of being filmed on a hand camera, really.
Yes. Yeah.
Like the camera moves and like when they're running, it's bouncing. You can see it's very rough and well done, but like you don't expect much less from Danny Boyle.
No, not at all.
But like I mean, I can
Irish, isn't it, in England?
Yeah.
I can accept that kind of harshness in the filmmaking, whereas with the likes of Cloverfield, it just wrecked my head.
I hate every minute of it.
Yeah, and I wanted to like it, but I couldn't because of the way it was filmed.
This had some great humor in it as well, like where he burst the priest with the bag of cans.
Oh yeah.
I shouldn't have done that. Oh Jesus God, I shouldn't have done that.
Very good.
I'm not a great fan of Cillian Murphy in things, but this is one of my favorite movies with him in it.
He was brilliant in that.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Good choice, Greg.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. This one was different.
Good choice. I'm gonna go back and watch that. What about you, Carl?
So we're up again. Let me see. We will go for a film that we have covered on this show already. Myself and Greg did it because Ian, you were off. So it'll be interesting to see if you've seen the film since then. Mm-hmm. And it was in 1999.
Can I guess?
We always have this guessing game.
The answer is no.
It's not Debbie Does Dallas, is it?
Well, no, that's not a horror film at all. In a good way. Go on, guess.
I know what it is. Go on, folks.
Ravenous.
I haven't seen it.
It's on Disney Plus. Check it out.
Before we go any further, a film about cannibalism is on Disney Plus. Go check it out, Eno.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Disney have brought out some random things on that.
Disney wrote a cartoon in the 40s about pedophilia in Pinocchio, so nothing surprised me about them. Bring me all the little boys.
The actors were very stiff, apparently.
Good John, remember? Good fucking John. We actually went back and watched that recently. We were like, good Lord, the references in this are absolutely terrible. It should.
I think a lot of that Disney stuff was just leave it, burn it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Ravenous anyway was directed by Antonio Board and a budget of 12 million. But would you believe it only made 2 million, just under 3 million?
This is where we went off on it the last time, saying
that makes me want to watch it now, because people that don't want to, you know what I mean?
it just came out at the wrong time. It came out in
Yeah.
between The Matrix and The Sixth Sense and things like that.
Yeah.
So it got lost in the pack.
Yeah. And that happened to a lot of great movies, to be fair. It really
That's
did.
another.
Well,
and
the
that's
thing
that's
is
yeah.
the prime example of that.
Yeah.
Came out the same day as E.T.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's something we could look at down the line. As
Even though they
films.
were completely different movies, you know what I mean?
Two Alien movies. Well, one Alien, one Parasite movie.
Yeah, and I mean, people that went to see E.T., obviously not kids, obviously, but adults that went to see that probably would have went to see The Thing as well, had they not have been on the same kind of.
Well, The Thing apparently had the second strongest second weekend showing of any movie between the 80s and 2000s.
Wow.
So people realized, obviously,
Yeah.
what it was.
Again, another film that never gets old. You know.
The Thing, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this film had Guy Pearce, Robert Carlyle, and David Arquette, just to name three. I'm only giving like 2 or 3 names off the cast, and it was set in the late 1800s. And again, it's about a guy who's he's basically eating people to survive. I know that's very loosely putting the thing on it, but again, just take our word for it. It's really, really good. It's a very underrated film.
Robert Carlyle steals the show.
He's brilliant. And also, here we go. Here's another one with a fantastic soundtrack. The soundtrack was made by Michael Nyman and Damon Albarn of Blur. They collaborated on this.
He's a legend, anyway.
It's amazing. I can't say enough good things about that film. As I said to Greg on the episode of it, I went to see that film like 3 or 4 times in the cinema when it came out.
You were saying in the IFSC or something.
The IFC, Irish Film Centre. It was.
I know it. Yeah.
Amazing film, and like I say, I'm not gonna go on too much about it, but just go check it out. Go check it out.
Is that the first one of the list that we all haven't seen?
Yeah, probably actually. Yeah, Ian hasn't seen it yet.
Well, I'm going to give you my choice now, and then I guarantee you haven't seen this.
Go on.
I've went further back in time. I went to 1964.
Right, well then I haven't seen it.
With a Hammer horror, absolute legendary film, in my opinion. But a really good, such a, people are expecting Dracula or something here, but if you really know your horror, you'll know that was 1958. So fuck you.
Heel turn.
I've went with the Gorgon.
I know of the film, yes. I know of it.
And you'll remember, Carl, one of my old bands had a song called Gorgon.
That's right, yeah.
Yes. I wrote a song after watching this film. 1964, directed by Terence Fisher, who is literally the legendary Hammer horror director, who done the likes of The Mummy with Christopher Lee and done Dracula. He pretty much done all of the great Hammer horror movies that you know. Terence Fisher was the guy.
I think I've seen this.
Yeah, and it does star Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, that duo. That is
the Hammer duo, basically.
And
that was it, yeah.
One of the best duos of all time in horror, in my opinion. And anyone that knows their real horror will agree with that. That is 100% the case. Christopher Lee, and the great thing about it is they're both baby faces in this. You know what I mean? They're both good guys.
Not very often that happened either.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the great thing about it. The Gorgon is basically like a Medusa type character that anybody that looks into her eyes turns to stone. And there's actually some quite dark, ideas in this, because the opening kind of part of it is, based on, a girl that's pregnant and shouldn't be pregnant to a guy, and he's going over to the father, and there's even kind of almost allusions to rape and all in it. So it's like for 1964, it's quite
out there.
Yeah, it went quite out there. So that's my one, and I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to ruin it for people, because I think it's a movie that if you haven't seen, it's definitely something.
Gotta check it out, definitely. I need to revisit a lot of Hammer. I mean, again, another episode full dedication to Hammer.
Oh, 1,000,000%. You have the right guy on it.
You need more than one.
Yeah. We do a series. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I've gone to the late 90s this time. 97. It was a Wes Craven produced movie directed by Robert Kurtzman. It's called The Wishmaster.
Oh,
Yes.
Wishmaster, yeah.
This movie has the who's who of horror in it.
I watched this only about 3 months ago.
Oh, brilliant. It has the who's who of horror stars in it.
Brilliant.
It's got Robert Englund. It's got Kane Hodder. It's got Tony Todd. It's got Ted Raimi in it. I mean, it's just a phenomenal cast. And then obviously Andrew Divoff is the Jinn himself.
What a cool character as well. Sorry.
It's such a strange movie. Like this went way down on people's list and not seeing it. This movie is pretty much playing with a genie in a bottle that when you get 3 wishes, bad things happen when you do it. You have to be willing to. It's kind of like a genie crossed with Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes, what a movie.
There's like you don't get anything good from it. You could ask for £1 million, but it'll probably cost you your family's life.
Yeah.
Along the way somehow. But the movie overall is just brilliant. It's not as well rated as I thought it would be, but
it's underrated and as well as that the effects in it are cool as well.
Yeah, those it's one of those movies like those who know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it spanned 4 movies as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
You know what I mean? So
like puppets.
It's puppets. Yeah, Puppet Master. The Wishmaster. I love this. I found this in Extravision when I was about 12, and I was like, yeah, that one. And then all the rest of them had subsequently came out, so I was like, I'm gonna get them all. I'm gonna watch them all. And I remember the cover. I'll always remember the cover. It was a purple box, and it just had him going like this on the front of it.
Yeah.
That was it, and a little candlelight behind him.
Yeah,
it's what Greg was attracted to.
The candle.
Jackpot.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
But what a movie! If you haven't seen it, I really recommend it. Don't bother looking at the ratings or anything. Just
go and see it.
Go in and watch a movie and watch the movie.
Never look at
what we'll actually do is when this goes up, we'll have the 15 films in a list on the description of the episode, so at least it's there for people to kind of kind of quick look at. Yeah.
So we're down to 2 each left.
Right. I went for again. This film was I think its legacy is ruined because of the director. That gives it away.
I know what it is.
Yeah, it's one of your favorites, isn't it?
Is it this one?
Jeepers Creepers. Absolutely. What a film. And again, the kind of film that could have been just done fine on its own.
What did the director do?
He when he filmed Clown House, he sexually abused a 15-year-old boy.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
that was a genuine question. I wasn't.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
People turned on the movie itself.
Yeah, and the second one, and I mean the second one was okay. It was.
He's
fun.
in jail now, I hope. Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He done time. I think he done time for it.
Oh yeah.
Because it was in 1981 or something, 1985 or something happened.
So basically, I try because I love the Creeper as a character, as a monster.
It's unbelievable.
It's one of the best movie monsters, I feel, and so I try and separate that from the director guy.
You should always do that. Always do that. Yeah.
I'm not going to name him there because obviously anyone who knows it, they know who he is.
Yeah.
But it had Gina Phillips in it, Justin Long, and Jonathan Breck played the Creeper. The Creeper is just. I can't say enough good things about that character.
He does look awesome. Awesome. It's kind of like a caretaker with like.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds you of Tim Curry in Legend.
Yes.
That kind of design crossed with about a whole bottle of darkness.
Yeah, I love when you see his van careening down the road.
I'll tell you what, that must be about a 16-litre engine in that yoke.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It's awesome. It's fucking awesome. But again, that made good money. It was on 10 million budget and it made 59.7 million.
But you look at it, Francis Ford Coppola had a big hand in that first one.
Executive producer, yeah.
So that's when people give out about the director doing that. I was like, so what are you gonna do? Are you gonna ignore anything Justin Long done because he was in it? Are you gonna ignore Francis Ford Coppola's?
Yeah, let's all forget about Clockwork Orange,
Yeah.
But But yeah, I love that film, and I love the tagline every 23 years. For 23 days, it gets to feed. I love that.
It gets to eat, yeah.
It's brilliant.
This here is my favorite horror movie of the pre-2000s.
Yeah.
Post-2000s. Like if I want to watch something, I'll normally go to the likes of this, Nightmare on Elm Street, a movie that I have coming up on my list later on. That's not Nightmare on Elm Street, something else that I want to do right now. But like the whole thing around this was phenomenal. Like the build up, the atmosphere, the bit going into the lady's house with the cats.
Oh, I love that.
Well, that's not my scarecrow. Okay.
Like that little bits of imagery and atmosphere in this.
You don't see too much of them either until near enough the end.
Yeah, and funny enough, I know we're going off the first one, but the second one, you know, when he's in the crop field and he's just on the
I fucking love that.
So that takes the kid away.
This here, that is supposed to go here. The bit where he's on the post beside the tree, but I just never got it finished.
You will at some point.
I'll get there when I don't have to wear a mask sitting in there for 5 or 6 hours.
I'm assuming Ian's next film is The Invisible Man.
Well, I'll go with mine and then let him come back.
Yeah. So your next,
we'll fill him in on the way.
Here he is.
So, you're up.
Just in time. I've flip reversed the years here from 1964 on my last pick to 1946. So I'm even going further in time. I'm educating you people now. I've went with a movie which is probably one of my favorite horror movies of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. The Spiral Staircase.
Oh, what a film.
We talked about that when we did the Dynamo's list back for one of the Halloween episodes.
Yes, that's
and
correct.
I checked it out after that.
Awesome, eh?
Yeah, quality.
I firmly believe this movie was like it's a very psychological horror movie. So some might put it in the thriller bracket purely because of how old it is, but it is without a shadow of a doubt a horror. I talked to Phil and Samo about this on Dynamo's Dozen as well. He was like, "This is one of the movies that, without a shadow of a doubt, helped influence the likes of Alfred Hitchcock. There's no doubt in my mind on that." Robert Sotomac wrote, he directed it. A lot of there's no point in me mentioning the actors in this one because a lot of people won't really know it, but a lot of these actors are my favorite because I actually go back and listen to the likes of Dorothy McGuire, George Brent, Ethel Barrymore. They were kind of like really great stage actors, but also actors that used to do those radio presentations of horror movies. Yeah. This was actually a radio presentation first, you know what I mean? And with how great podcasts are, I would love like somebody to kind of put together a podcast production of some of these old, like, 30-40 minute old radio horror shows that people had to listen to because the acting in it was phenomenal. I'll just give an example. Gene Wilder's classic movie Haunted Honeymoon was kind of based on that. That's what they did, you know what I mean? And I love that. I love the atmosphere. I just love that tension and hearing the kind of thunder and like the car pulling up and some great stuff. But yeah, anybody that doesn't know Robert Sidomak, I'm probably butchering his name, he's German, but he also done Killers, that famous movie Killers, in 1948 as well. So he was absolutely well ahead of his time.
I think that's been remade about 400 times as well.
Yeah, exactly. And he done the original. So you could see the influence that he was having on the directors like Hitchcock and all coming up. But Spiral Staircase, look, without giving anything away, it's something you need to watch if you're a real horror fan and you don't mind black and white and you're not one of these little pussies that is like, oh, well, there's no color in it. No, the acting is dated. No, the acting was better.
Yeah.
Because the only thing they had was suspense and their faces and the tension that was created by sound effects.
Well, here's the thing, Ian. Don't forget, in 1946, they were creating original horror fucking movies.
Absolutely, not based on anything else. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, if a horror fan and snuff your nose up at this one, you should probably find a new thing to be interested in because this is absolutely amazing. The eyes in this movie, when you just see the eyes, it's actually the director himself. It's actually Mac himself.
Had to get himself in there, didn't he?
No, but guess what? He's actually uncredited. He didn't even credit himself in the credits. It was just that he was that mad German. I'm pretty sure he was part of a certain group in the 40s and that were brought up.
We won't say anything.
Jesus, saying you're flying close to the wind with this episode. You really are with a few of your comments tonight.
What happened? Guess who's getting banned off YouTube?
Name two others.
Two other what?
Comments that were too close to the wind.
I'm not bringing it up again, but you know, it's funny. That's all I'm saying.
This is a snowflake-free zone. If people don't want to tune in, don't.
Yeah.
But that is the truth. It's a great movie.
Quality. That time I'd only seen it for the first time after you told me on that Dynamite podcast episode.
Yeah.
I went and watched it then. It was brilliant.
Unbelievable.
So I'll give you my second last one.
Right.
I went with the Neil Marshall Werewolf classic, Dog Soldiers.
Lovely. Lovely.
This is, in fact, my favorite werewolf movie.
I know.
Ever.
Great movie.
Made off. Not even, well, it wouldn't even have been a shoestring budget, but it wasn't a major budget. I don't have the things with me here, but
Liam Cunningham as well. Good old East Wall.
Liam Cunningham is brilliant. Sean Pertwee as Sarge as well. I think Cooper went on to be in, I think it's Grey's Anatomy or something. I'm not sure, but he went on to be somewhatly successful as well. But like it's set in the Scottish Highlands of obviously Scotland. If you don't know where the Scottish Highlands are, you should probably take some geography. And they go up on a training exercise as to not get caught by special forces. Little did they know that they were the bait. And well, shit goes from 0 to 100 very fucking quickly as soon as night falls. Then it goes on from there. But the werewolves in this look so good. You don't really see the full transformation, which is great because if you butcher the transformation, the movie's bollocks. Yeah.
The only issue I had with the werewolves that they were like 10 foot tall or something. That was the only thing.
That's a good thing though as well. I like the idea of the dog man. I think they were more the dog man rather than werewolves. You know what I mean? Because that whole premise of the American dog man, like they're kind of almost like Bigfoot but with dog heads. I don't know whether maybe they were thinking of trying to be outside the box. I can't clarify that.
I think a lot of the werewolf movies you see, they're on 4 legs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of them are, believe it or not, a lot of them would be on 2. A lot of the more popular ones would be on 2 feet, you know. But a lot of the more popular ones, like look at the Wolfman and even.
Benicio del Toro's Wolfman, he was on 4.
Well, he started off on 2. Don't forget, you know when he.
Oh yeah.
You know, but anyway, I'm not.
American Werewolf is the weakest of them all. Anyway, we know that. So.
Yeah.
There's another
Carl has left the group chat.
There's another comment that's got Carl too close to the bone.
Carl has left the group chat.
I'm gonna punch the screen in a minute.
This is another one of them movies where the music is brilliant, the tension is brilliant, even the comedy in it is brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
No, it is fantastic, and the acting is great as well. Like as I said, Liam Cunningham is for me like such an underrated actor. He kind of got a lot of great props from Game of Thrones and stuff like that. But this is some of his great work. I think. I'm sure you boys.
I met him when I was working in IKEA. He came into the main store and I was talking to him. I was like, just don't mention Game of Thrones. Don't mention Game of Thrones.
He was a friend. Believe it or not. Here's a funny little side story. He was actually a friend of Rachel's late great mom Sue. They grew up in East Wall. Yeah, they were literally neighbors.
I was literally like, if I'm gonna say it, don't mention it. Don't mention Game of Thrones. Don't mention Game of Thrones. I was like, you were in Dog Soldiers. You're Ryan.
But he loved that, didn't he?
He was like, I thought you were gonna say Game of Thrones. I was like,
yeah.
No. I was like, no.
They love when you say something different to them. They love that. Like when I met John Carpenter. When I met John Carpenter, when I met John Carpenter, like the first thing I said to him was like, "Yeah, I love horror movies, but I love your music." And he was just like, "Okay, thanks." You know, and I said, "Yeah, I love Halloween as well, of course." Like,
how could you not, though?
Yeah.
But it was just like it just got a little smile out of him. I was like, I kind of was like, yeah, like I could have went, oh yeah, you were great in Game of Thrones. You were Ryan Dog Soldiers.
And that'll stick with him more rather than you saying, "Oh, you were also in Game of Thrones." The fact you said that,
Yeah,
you know, it means you follow his career. He's more than just, you know, Stannis or whatever his name is.
Neil Marshall hit an absolute banger with this one though. So
it would be a very not very very close second. It would be a second. It's only second to American Werewolf for me.
First.
In terms of werewolf films.
is that your next pick?
Yeah. So my
That's
final
why I
pick.
said first to wind them up.
I know a rib when I see one.
Try to goad it out of him.
So yeah, my final pick tonight is American Werewolf in London, which is I think you were all expecting that, you know.
Well,
Filmed in '81 by John Landis, who was a legendary director, sadly no longer with us. 5.8 million of a budget, and it made 62 million. So
in that time was phenomenal money. So that's probably 3 or 4 times.
Recreated it in Thriller as well, which is great almost, isn't it?
I love that. I love that video, that Thriller video.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I remember I used to have that on VHS, the making of it used to be like half an hour.
Thriller?
Yeah.
And then they show you
me too, man. It scared the shit out of me. But the difference is, Greg, I watched it in 1988 as a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
when you were like, what? What the fuck is going on? What's happening to Michael?
What creeped me out the most about that was when, you know, at the end when he turns around, the yellow eyes and the big smile.
Yeah.
It's fucking mad. But yeah, this film, for, like, as everyone knows, this film for me really got my, you know, I love this film. I can't say enough about it. Sometimes I just say I go on too much about it, like, you know what I mean?
You can never go on too much about your favorite film, to be fair.
That's it.
David Norton on it, so we definitely know you like it.
David Norton, Griffin Dunn, and Jenny Agutter were the 3 main ones in this. And of course, don't forget the amazing makeup and effects by Rick Baker.
Rick is the man, though.
Yeah, the Oscars made up. They got the first best makeup Oscar for this film. You know, they not that they made it specifically for this film, but this is what the film that brought that kind of Oscar to the fore. You know.
Yeah.
So timeless, and it's my favorite werewolf itself. I love that it's on 4 feet and not 2, and I just love how you don't see an awful lot of it. You really don't. And funny enough, I think John Landis thought that he thought there was too much of it, and I didn't think there was. I thought there was the perfect amount.
Kind of like Bruce.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it though. Look at those. They're the times. They're the years when they knew that less was more. You know. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm not going to go on about the film because, as you said, we have an episode about it. So yeah, American Werewolf in London. If I was going to say, this is probably my favorite film on this list. All right.
And well worth watching.
Yeah.
Amazing. So
there we go. Ian, up to you.
And also the best pub name ever, the Slaughtered Lamb.
Slaughtered Lamb.
I've finished my show off with another John Carpenter classic. John Carpenter's The Fog.
Oh yeah.
Personally, probably one of my favorite horrors, if not up in my top 3 ever. Maybe top 2. Maybe even number 1.
Really?
Yeah, growing up in Bray, like when I watched this in, I believe, 1996 with my nanny, believe it or not, we used to watch Horror Night. It was me and my nanny.
When the mist used to come in over Bray Head.
Yeah, now you got it. I was like, shit, man, this could happen in Bray. But then obviously I realized, it's in a nicer California town with sun.
Probably not.
But 1980. 2 years after Halloween, obviously, a year after Halloween, whatever, when they started. But
and then 2
obviously,
years before the big one.
Yeah, exactly. He wrote the screenplay, created all of the music for the film as well. This is when you see John Carpenter's music throughout it all, and it's all very, very different. Not different, you know, it's John Carpenter, but you get what I mean by that, especially you.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
The scores
he builds an atmosphere without actually doing anything.
Yeah.
The music is just phenomenal in all his movies.
Yeah, and like just the whole premise of this is like, you know, that it's a town that's been built on a lie. You know, Blake decided to kind of sell out his own boys and let them go and fall, sink to their deaths. What did they call it? Davy Crockett's
Davy Jones' locker.
Davy Jones' locker, yeah. And let them all kind of sink to their death, and there was a curse put on the town. And the reason I chose this as well, because it actually, like, it had a $21 million budget domestically.
That's huge back then.
That's big, yeah.
No, sorry, it wasn't received. I'm telling a bloody different story here. It only had a 1.1 million budget, but in the first few months it was not well received at all. So this kind of seems to be
that's a thing with his films.
Seems to be what's happening, even with The Thing and all, but it drew 21 million by the end of it. Do you know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah.
So
again, it could be just poor timing or anything though.
It could be, yeah. I mean, it's 1980. I mean, I'd have to go back and really do my research to see what was coming out at that time. You know what I mean? To see what was coming out to kind of counter it. But I think, like, without a doubt, since it has been released, it falls into that bracket of cult horror movies for a lot of people, because they did really end up falling in love with it.
Yeah.
I think the work in it was amazing, especially that final scene. Won't give it away for anyone either, but the whole church scene and those red eyes coming for you. It's
brilliant.
And it is terrifying. Like, really, if you allow yourself to be immersed in, just something different, it's actually.
That's what horror movies should be. You should be watching a movie, becoming immersed in the movie.
Yeah,
exactly.
None of this. No, I'm guilty of it myself, sitting on my phone when there's a movie on. Mostly because I've seen most of them when I rewatch them.
Well, yeah, but it's different when you've seen them.
I'm a fucker for not watching. I'm not watching new movies. Like, I'd rather go back and watch old ones.
Same.
And that's it. And I think this movie in particular, like, without a shadow of a doubt, if you're a fan of John Carpenter and you've not seen it, or you like his music, you like the Halloween music, watch this film, because he creates atmosphere with all of his music throughout this whole movie. I mean, there's one scene that you'll see in the trailer anyway, when, like, the granny is minding the kid, and you just see the knock at the door and the hook, and it's the fog starts coming under the house. You know what I mean? Through the doors.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And the kids go and try to hide under the bed. It is fucking terrifying.
It is.
Absolutely.
Out the back door, kid. Out the back door.
Back door and run. It's an absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it. It is my favorite horror movie of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. I think it has everything I need for me personally in a horror movie. And if anyone thinks I'm wrong, in the comment section, babies.
Absolutely.
Right, I'll give you my last one then. So it's a movie I've mentioned franchise on this show quite a bit. Mightn't be the greatest franchise in the world, but sure is entertaining. I went for the 2003 movie Wrong Turn.
I thought you were going with Twilight there for a second, the way you were building it up.
No, that's 2011. That's for a different one. That's an honorable mention.
I know. I thought you were going with the books.
I went with Wrong Turn. Well, the first one on its own more so than the franchise.
Nothing wrong with that movie at all, man.
No.
The first one was brilliant. There's certain horror films where you don't need to have fucking people getting naked and riding everyone and getting killed that way. When you can build a horror movie with that kind of cast and not have to do that, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
This
movie's set in the Appalachian Mountains. I think that's what they're called anyway.
Appalachian.
In West Virginia.
They should have brought Bigfoot into that, shouldn't they?
Probably not. But no, like, it's set with 3 hillbillies, mutated hillbillies that are hunting and mowing people down, that are coming down Bear Mountain Road, it's called. And then obviously eating them and taking their stuff and just storing it God knows where. Has Elijah Dusk, who's obviously just the biggest one in it, the biggest girl in it. But like, the suspense in this movie is brilliant. Like, there's not a whole lot of soundtrack to it.
No, it doesn't need it though. Doesn't need it.
Yeah, but like, there's bits in it where they're running through the forest and the lads are chasing them, and the small one whose name is Tree Finger, has the creepiest laugh you'll ever hear in your life. But the three mutants obviously hunting people down, and obviously can't let people catch on to them because they know what comes next. But like, this is a survival in the woods movie, and what a movie it was.
I love how like all 15 of these movies have been all no, but like very different perspective, but like covers such a different, very, very different genre of horror movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've created like a top 15 list that would match any fucking list on the internet out there today when people are looking up what they want to watch. Should, you know, people type in top 10 80s movies, people top, top 10, whatever. I think
there's a bit of everything.
You know what I mean? We've covered absolutely everything. Even while Carl's afraid of what I say next, we've covered everything. But you don't need to worry, Carl. I'm the head of this.
You won't let me live that down, will you?
Nope.
But like that's why I came up with the idea of not having the sort of big 7 or 8 names on it, because there's no point in having Nightmare on Elm Street and all on it, because they're gonna make it onto everyone's list.
And we can cover them. You know what I mean? We can cover all the, you know, and do franchises, as Carl has said before. Yeah. We can kind of rank our favorites in tandem. But no, I think this has been an awesome
first three-way dance.
Yeah, definitely.
First of many, hopefully.
First of lots. We're not getting cancelled, Carl.
100. Rumor has it we signed a 100 episode deal.
Is that right, Bossman? Did we?
It's grand. I have an agreement.
I don't know what it is yet, but I have one.
Oh no, I know what it is. It's ongoing. We're not stopping.
A rolling contract. What?
We're not.
The show goes on.
Absolutely. No, I really enjoyed this, lads, I have to say.
Yeah, me too.
It's always
and
great
by the way,
horror chat.
all of our fans out there, join us in applauding the G-Man in his first ever proper hosting job.
Yeah.
And knocking it out of the park.
Absolutely.
Hope you've had fun, because I did.
With that mighty fine looking kind of Sasquatchy type.
Yeah, it's the Joker.
The Joker.
Oh yeah, well you can only see the eyes. It looked like it because you could see the top of the head. Now I know it's the Joker.
You thought it was a Sasquatch because of Greg's beard, didn't you?
Yeah.
Fits in nicely, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's the infamous Joker.
I love it. I've really enjoyed today's show, lads, and I think people are going to enjoy it. And please do make sure that you like and subscribe to the Dynamo Podcast Network, and make sure also that you like this video, share it, but most importantly, hit the bell notification for updates. We have our own playlist, so if you're not interested in anything else that the Dynamo Podcast Network has to offer, well, we've got a playlist for you there. So just go down through on the Slab, and be sure to comment and let us know though what you thought of our picks. Yeah. If you have anything to counter us with, be brave enough to speak your mind.
Or if there's a movie you'd like us to check out.
Or if you want to talk about a particular movie as well. I mean,
always interested.
We're open to most anything, really. But again, we want to hear from people. We want to hear what you think.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Well, shall we leave it there, chaps?
That is all we have time for. Carol, why don't you close us out?
I will indeed. This has been On the Slab, and it has been G-Man's first time doing this, and it won't be his last, because none of us lost our heads tonight. Absolutely. We're out of here. Adios.